In two spots. Make it easy on us. Okay. All right. So let's start this off, y'all. Okay. Take a couple deep breaths. Breathe in, breathe deep. Couple deep breaths. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. We are asking for the maximum clarity in this boot camp. We are grateful already for the simplicity. We are grateful already for the transformation. We are grateful already for the dedication and the devotion that will happen in this boot camp. Let's all get ready. Prepare your hearts, prepare your minds. Actually speak to your body. Say, I am willing and open to receive. Go ahead and say it. I'm willing and open to receive. Say it. I'm willing and open to receive. If you want to put your hands over your heart to say it, you can. I'm willing and open to receive. I'm willing and open to receive. Thank you for the reception. 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 You want to prepare your mind to receive before you receive. You want to get your mind and heart prepared to receive before you receive. During this boot camp, you will find very quickly, you will move deeper into your heart spaces. You will move deeper into clarity. You will move deeper into the essence of who you are. You will move deeper into it. This will happen throughout the entire boot camp. The reason why is because this boot camp is coming from a place of space rather than intellect. When you look into Kabbalah, what Kabbalah actually means, this is a Kabbalah boot camp. So for anybody who does not know what Kabbalah simply means to receive. It shows you how to receive. That is what the Kabbalah is about. So when you embark on learning the Kabbalah, you are learning how to open yourself up to receive. How many people have felt that they wanted to receive something in their lives that you feel is there, but it does not come sometimes? How many people have experienced that? The Kabbalah is going to help you learn to receive. It's a science. Once you see how the Kabbalah is set up, what's going to blow your mind is how exact the golden funnel is to the Kabbalah. Once you see, and this was not on purpose, before I created, before let's say before I say create, before the golden funnel came in, I didn't study Kabbalah deeply before then. So the fact that the Kabbalah and the golden funnel matches is simply a testament to the accuracy of the universe rather than the accuracy of me as an individual. Okay? It's not accuracy in Josh, it's accuracy in the receptivity or clarity of the reception. And this is going to come through to you. So, Kabbalah, first thing you want to write at the top of your page is Kabbalah means to receive, 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 receive. If you ever heard Abraham Hicks will say, get into the receptive mode. Why does she say get in the receptive mode? The reason she says get into the receptive mode is because that's all you have to do. That's your job. You simply have to learn how to get into the receptive mode. That's simply all you have to learn. When you learn to get in the receptive mode more quickly, more often, then you can let in the light. But how do you do that? That's what we'll be going over in the Kabbalah. If you have had the experience of things going well and then they start to taper off, or your creativity drop off, or your mental drops off, you will understand exactly the reasons why from studying the Kabbalah. The only thing you didn't know how to do in that moment is receiving the light. So we'll be talking about receiving the light during this time with us. Okay? Now, the main thing I want you to do when you take notes on everything, but I want you to draw the things out. When we draw them out, I want you to draw them out. Okay? These images, when you start to work with the image that is the tree of life, which we're going to see here in a second, and you start to connect the tree of life to the golden funnel, then things are going to start simplifying in your mind. They're going to start simplifying in your mind. Things are going to be easier to understand. All right. So let's go over the first concept. Let's go over the first concept. The first concept is obviously you have to know the 5 fundamentals. We won't spend the whole time going over the 5 fundamentals. If you don't know what the 5 fundamentals are, you go to the Golden Funnel course that is in Empathy Empire, run through that. You will understand what the 5 fundamentals are. We go over the 5 fundamentals. But for those of you who do know what the 5 fundamentals are, you also know that you don't know what you don't know, which is a part of the fundamentals. There are deeper levels to understanding step 1, which is know who to listen to. The reason that you're not listening to me per se, you're listening to a teaching that's been passed down for generations and has worked for generations. It's just a wisdom system. It's a system of understanding the universe in a systematic, scientific way. It's the science of the soul. So that's what we're dealing with here. It's the science of the soul. So just recognize I'm dealing with the science of the soul. Okay? So you will get first things first. We're going to talk about the beginning of creation. We're going to talk about the beginning of creation. Let's start this off. Kabbalistically speaking, the question is, how did we all get here? We're here in these physical bodies. Stuff keeps going on. It's one thing after another. Can't seem to figure it out. Can't seem to get it right. Why are we in this realm where it's dominated by desires and ego and all of the things we do not want and do not like? Why is this the case? Why are we here? Why are we in this place? Well, Kabbalistically speaking, we'll find out from the story here. In the beginning, before there was anything, there was no thing. Can we agree? Before there was anything, there had to be no thing. That no thing has to be infinite. It's impossible for no thing to be anything but infinite because there are no boundaries to no thing. Are we clear on that? This in the Kabbalah, they call the Or Sof. You don't need to know all the language, but it's the Or Sof, or the light, the endless light. That is what is called in Kabbalah. When you deal with the endless light, you deal with it differently than you think, but we'll talk about that soon. This is the endless realm. Endless light. That light being endless, the quality of the light as we know it, is as the desire to share. Because the creator is complete, lacking nothing. If it is the source of everything that came after it, and we see an entire cosmos here, then this source of everything must also be infinite, and it must be the source of us as well. Does that make sense? So this light is called the desire to share. Now, this desire to share is only sharing. It has no need to receive. It has no need to even create. It really is not a desire because it doesn't have the capability of desiring either, but it shows up to us that way. It's not even really a desire to share. It's just so abundant that all it is sharing to us. We can also call this the good. We can call this the life. We can call this the endless. This is the source of all good. This is good itself. Infinite. Okay? From this, now before there was any physical condition, this was the state. Light filled the entire cosmos. It filled every place, everywhere. There was no distinction between anything else. So if you can imagine that there's a perfect blanket, static blanket of light throughout everything. And there's so much light that we can't even distinguish between things. That's how much light it is. It fills up everywhere. It's everywhere at once. That is the state of reality before there was any physical thing. Now, this light was not visible light. We're not talking about visible light. This light was an invisible, infinite light that could not be seen with the eyes. In the Taoist teachings, they call it the Tao. the way. This is what they speak of. Okay. Now, from here, the interesting part is, although light filled the entire thing, that is not to say that all of creation was not in it. So, in Kabbalistic teachings, they have a saying that this is the seed of creation. In the seed, it contains all there is. You can't get out of a bag that which is not in it. Therefore, our personalities, our being, our soul, the trees, nature, everything you see, taste, touch, smell, and hear, everything that you can think, emote, or see or perceive in your mind or consciousness is in this light, this desire to share. Okay? So it's in there. What receives the light, what's inside of the desire to share, is called the vessel. The vessel is who you are. Now, this vessel, this receptacle for the light, is an infinite vessel. Its quality, unlike the first quality, is the desire to receive. The desire to receive. This is the vessel. The vessel is the desire to receive. Now, here's the condition before creation was made. There was an infinity and there was a vessel altogether. The vessel constitutes everything. All that is in the world is really in man. So only creation there ever was from the creator in Kabbalah is the desire to receive. That is the only thing that is said to ever have been created, or the vessel, should I say. It's the only creation that God ever did in Kabbalistic teachings. There is no other creation that came from the source except the desire to receive, the vessel. It's the only creation. Now, here's the issue. This desire to share shared all of its light with the vessel. The vessel is receiving all that it could possibly want, all that it could possibly need. But there's one issue, and I'm going to give you an example. We've talked about this before, okay? Let's give an example. If you were to get invited, you needed to go to LA. Let's say you needed to go to LA. And when you went to LA, you stayed with a friend, right? So you stayed with a friend. Now, they say the fridge is yours. You can have the master bedroom. It's all you. You have it. Now imagine that you stay a little bit too long. You don't really have a job yet, and they keep coming in and out of the house. How do you eventually feel if you're eating up all the food and you're staying on the couch and they letting you live there and they trusted you would have work and you would create something by now? How do you start to feel? Put it in chat what you would start to feel. How would you start to feel at that point? Let me look at the chat here. Shame, guilt. Okay? Shame, guilt, burdensome, like a burden. There we go. Shame. That's exactly what ends up happening here is we start to experience bread of shame. That is the first thing that the vessel experiences. Now, the only thing that the creator wants to do is create a vessel and fill it with boundless delight. It just wants to fill it with all the good that it possibly can. So that is the whole desire, is to share its full self with the vessel. It just wants to fill it with boundless delight. Now, bread of shame doesn't feel good to the vessel. So since bread of shame doesn't feel good to the vessel, bread of shame is any time that we receive that which we do not earn. Whenever we receive what we don't earn, we get bread of shame. So while we were unified with the creator, the legend goes, we were the vessel who got sick of just receiving and not being able to give and earn it. We felt like we were getting a handout. It didn't feel good to us. So we wanted to be like the creator. We can't be like the creator unless we share. Now, problem is, everything's fulfilled in this state. There is nothing to share with because the light is filling it up. So what has to happen? What has to happen at that point? The creator sees it fit to withdraw its light from the world and to reveal the illusion of darkness so the vessel can start to earn the light. So the light gets removed and placed in the heart of all things, but not visible to the outside world. This is what happens. We decided we don't want things for free. We don't want the light for free. As beautiful as it was, we didn't earn it. So we want to earn it. Now, many of you might remember, how many people remember the story of Adam and Eve in the Bible? Do y'all remember what happens? Adam and Eve get told not to eat from this one tree in the center of the garden, the tree of knowledge of good and evil. It said, don't do it. Just don't eat that. They do it anyway. Why? Because the serpent says to them, if you eat of this tree, you're not going to die. You will be like God. That's legend, because what really happened was when we ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, it's true. We just began the journey of becoming like God because what we had to do was bite from the tree of darkness. The evil part was the only new aspect of our experience. All we had experienced up until that point was the light. But when the light withdrew itself because of bread of shame, we get cast onto earth, which is darkness. Does that make sense? Okay. That makes sense. Everybody following? Everybody following? So I'm about to redraw this so y'all can see it. Where did it go? I'm about to redraw this. So now here's the condition. The no thing has withdrawn itself. The light is gone. And what do we have? We have the vessel. Now, for y'all who know Golden Funnel, y'all probably already seeing where this is going. You have the vessel. Here's the vessel. The vessel is the desire to receive. Where is that desire? That's inside the vessel, at the core of the vessel. The desire to receive. Okay? Desire to receive. Here it is. That desire to receive lives at your core. The desire to receive. But there's a deeper desire, which is the desire for the light. That's the actual desire. You desire to receive, but you don't desire to receive for yourself alone. You desire to receive to share. But the very beginning of this is the desire to receive. Now, the desire to receive, here's the light. It's outside of your experience. In Kabbalistic teachings, this is called the 99%. It's called the 99%. The 1% reality. The 1% reality, when the light withdraws itself, creates a curtain. And this curtain here manifests your physical body here in the dark, cut off from all above it. The only thing you know is your physical world. This is the physical. This is the physical. And here is your psyche. Your wild, raging mind. Your wild and raging mind. So I'm going to show you this in Kabbalistic teaching. This is called Keter. This is the infinite, 99%. That's the 99%. It's where you are. This 99% is connected to I am. This is I am, or the vessel. For y'all who don't know, the vessel or I am, it's the ultimate vessel. It's the great I am. Okay? Right here, there's a circle that appears right here. It's called Deat. It's the ocean or the gateway that the light, the white light, the pure white light comes through. That's the subconscious mind that you see here, this circle. This is the subconscious mind. Okay? Now, next, this triad, this is a triad. Everything works in threes when you look at Kabbalistic teachings. These three represent, guess what? Desire. It represents your desire in the golden funnel. This is what we see. Now let's look at the next ones. This is desire. Now, if you move down a notch, one more notch, you will see another triad here. Okay. This represents the law or the principles. And it also represents the why. It represents the principles and represents the why. Okay? That's here. This particularly represents a how at the bottom. And this very last one is the physical universe we live in. What y'all are seeing is that the Kabbalah is actually showing you the golden funnel. This is the simplified version of a very ancient wisdom teaching. And I'm about to show you about the reverse golden funnel. First, we got to explain it going forward, and then we'll explain it going back because this is the return cycle. But everybody get a picture of this, take a screenshot because I'm about to erase it. Okay? Because we're going to learn how to absolve ourselves of bread of shame. We're going to learn how to absolve ourselves of bread of shame. Okay? So here it is. So let's go ahead and erase this. So, first concept, how do we get rid of bread of shame? The way we get rid of bread of shame is only one way. We have to restrict the light. So let's talk about the restriction. Okay, what you just saw was the top down of the golden funnel. But how do you allow in the light? We live in the realm of darkness. We live in a realm of illusion. We live in Maya. We live in this world where our cravings pull us in, overwhelms us to the point where we can't see the light sometimes. Why is that the case? Because we were receiving, and we don't want to receive for free. So we asked for problems and negativity so that when we get the negativity, we can overcome it and reveal the light. Does this make sense? The light is everywhere, but we can't see it until we reveal it. Now, how do you reveal it? This is the game. This is the game. The only way you can reveal the light is by rejecting it. And I'm going to give you an example. So let's go back to the light bulb theory. Some of y'all heard this before, but you want to hear it again. Okay? Electricity. The electrical flow flows into the light bulb. And that filament right there, does that filament need to receive the light totally, or does it need to reject the light in order to glow? Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. Does it need to reject the light or does it need to receive it in? Which one? Okay, it needs to reject it. When the filament rejects and restricts the light, that's when it glows. That's when it glows. In Kabbalistic teachings, here's another concept. This is called a circular condition, and this is called a linear condition. Okay? Now, the infinite circular condition is infinite. This infinite potential has to come through a pipeline. Imagine this as a pipeline. There's only as much energy as the pipeline that comes through as the pipeline is capable of receiving. If you have a very narrow pipeline, you only get a little bit of light. If you have a very wide pipeline, you get a lot more light. What determines this? What determines this is how well you restrict or resist your negative instincts. And what are the negative instincts? Here we go. If your goal is to be like the creator, your goal is to be like the creator. Okay? What is the creator? It's four qualities. The creator is number one, a cause, not an effect. So go ahead and write that first one down. The first quality that you are looking to embody to let in the light is you have to be the cause rather than the effect. And we're going to give some examples of this. Okay? Also, number two, you are in control of your destiny. Full control of your destiny. You're not a created entity is what it's called. You're not set in stone. You're not limited to where you are. You don't stop growing at the point that you're at right now. You don't. If you allow yourself to do that, then you're at effect. You're not acting like the creator. Okay? Next, you need growth. You need growth. You need growth. And number four, you need to give. Okay? So let's explain these three. Being that cause over your reality. If some negative thing happens to you and you react to it, then are you the effect or are you the cause? Go ahead and put it in the chat. If a negative situation happens to you and you react, are you at effect or are you at a cause? Okay, you're at an effect. That is when you receive all the light in, the curtain comes back over and covers the 99% that has all of your joy, all of your happiness, all of your peace, all of your life, all of the good. You pull the curtain over it because you took cheap light and the supply was cut. That's why after you experience a high in that relationship or in that business or in that job or in that sales week, you hit a low because you were too needy and you received, and you became an effect rather than a cause. This is the first mistake you will make. Now, I'm going to explain why this happens in the next section. Okay. Next, number two is you want to have control. What I mean by control, it really is you are in control of your trajectory and your growth. You have created yourself. No one else created you. You didn't just get plopped down on earth and now this is just who you are. No, you can go above personality, intellect, and physical memory. You don't have to be your genetics. You don't have to be your mental cycles that are repeated over and over again. You can go beyond that. And if you are not changing who you are on a regular basis to do that, there's an issue. Because you're not taking control of your life. You're not directing your life. You're letting things happen to you. Does that make sense? Okay, does that make sense? This is the second thing. Number three, being under the control of everything else. When you blame somebody, when you complain about somebody else, when you make an excuse, guess what you're doing? You are giving up all your power. You are unlike the creator. And it's a law called the law of affinity. If you don't know what the law of affinity is, It just says like is similar to like. Like is in close proximity to like. So if you act like the creator, then you become like the creator. That's what the law said. So me and the creator are one in the spirit realm if I'm acting like it. If I'm not acting like the creator, me and the creator are far away in distance in the spirit realm. See, in the spirit realm, it's not a proximity like physical distance. It's similitude. So what you're trying to be is you're trying to be just like the infinite creator. But you're trying to be like the infinite creator here in the realm of darkness. And the only way you can do that is by restricting your automatic tendencies. By restricting your automatic powerless tendencies. Number 4 is give, because the creator only shares and gives. Anytime that you don't share and give, you are trying to receive. Receiving is for the vessel, not for the creator. Receiving is for a vessel, not a creator. If you want to receive the light, which has all the benefits you want, it has all the money you want, your soulmate is already existing. In Kabbalistic teachings, everything is already here. Your soulmate is already manifest. If you feel like you have a soulmate, you actually do have that soulmate. If you feel like you have a lot of money, you do have a lot of money. If you feel like you have plenty of freedom and happiness, you do have freedom and happiness. If you feel like you have a family, you do have a family. Everything that you feel you want already exists. It's already here. The only thing preventing you from having it is you have to absolve yourself of bread of shame, and it'll be there automatically because you already have it. As a matter of fact, you couldn't even want those things and want the light of the creator, but unless you've tasted of it. When we were unified with the creator, we have in these bodies, while we walk this earth, a craving to connect back to that infinite source of good because we remember what it's like. We are that light. And that's that little vein that goes through everything that make you dissatisfied with all physical material manifestation as the thing that will make you happy. See, you have to be the cause, you got to be in control, growth, and give. So let's go over what that's like. So A, when we react to external situations, we are at an effect, not a cause. That's number 1. Number 2, when we remain the same with no change in our nature, we are not creating new life and new existence. That's number 2. Number 3, when we allow outside forces to influence our feelings positively or negatively, we have surrendered control. We cannot allow things to affect us positively or negatively. We have to outgrow that. Number 3, when we exhibit egocentric or self-centered behavior, we are not sharing, but instead receiving gratification for our own ego, and we fall out of likeness to God or likeness to the light. These are the 4 ways that you can lose the light. Now, why does this happen in the first place? If we just came down here to feel good and to receive the light, why is it so hard to do the right thing? It's because when you play a game, you want an opponent in that game. There is an opponent that is in your head. This opponent's job is to totally distract you from your purpose. That's his job. Because what we're playing is a light game. What you're trying to do is you're trying to earn the light. But how can you earn the light unless it's a worthy opponent to overcome? You can't. So in God's infinite wisdom, God created an opponent for you. Why? It was a story. A guy wanted to rob a bank. He was a bank robber. God said, look, you come over here, I'll give you everything you want. He said, all right. So he started getting everything he wanted for a while, but then he got bored. Bread of shame. Bread of shame came over him. He said, I'm tired of receiving all this for free. I want to rob a bank. He said, okay, how you want to do it? He said, I want $100,000. He said, I got you. He said, and what time do you want to rob the bank? He said, 6 o'clock. I want to rob the bank at 6 o'clock. He said, all right, 6 o'clock, we're going to have $100,000 for you laid out on the counter. Just walk in, rob the place, and walk out. That's all you need to do. He said, no, no, no. I want to rob the bank. He said, you will rob the bank. We'll just have it ready for you. He said, no, you don't understand. I want to crack the alarms myself. I want to sneak in. I want to get under the wires in those red lines like Mission Impossible. Like, I want to do this myself. Whole moral of the story is the man who gets it easy doesn't want it. Okay? This is the same way with you. So you have to have a worthy opponent to make it fun in the first place. So the creator in the creator's infinite wisdom gives you an opponent. And that opponent is attached right to the top of your head. And in the golden funnel, it is called the question how. That's the opponent. It's given to you as a gift to battle against on a regular, consistent basis every day of your life. Okay? Every single day. It wake up with you and go to sleep with you. You can wake up in the middle of the night. You know that the damn opponent is right there. It's on your ass immediately. This is the creator's job. It gave you a worthy opponent. So, what does the opponent want? Same thing as you. You want to feel good. But when you say you want to feel good, you don't realize this. But Kabbalistically speaking, what you're saying is, I would love the light. That's what you're saying. So the light is like a prism, or the light is like white light before it hits the prism. So white light is all good. That's what this is. But when it hits the prism of reality, let's say the subconscious mind, it colors itself into different colors. So red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. Red represents passion. Orange represents prosperity. Yellow represents happiness. Green represents money. Blue represents love. Okay? Purple represents royalty. It gives you all the different kinds of things you want. Food, happiness, sex, relationship, health, money, travel, everything is included in the light. Everything. All the good. It's infinite, as a matter of fact. So, this is your true desire. Now, I'm going to tell you the difference between Eastern tradition and Kabbalistic tradition. Eastern tradition, they have a consistent theme that you should try to kill off desire. There's a time and place for that, and it does make sense to a degree on how they explain it. But they tell you to kill off desire. Kabbalistic teachings do not tell you to kill off desire. Kabbalists say the problem, the sin, the issue, the evil, the wickedness is having small desires. So let me tell you what I mean. If you say, God, all I want is this girl, all I want is this man. If you say that, you just said, I don't want any other good. All the good that you have for me, I don't want any of it. I actually only want this small, tiny speck of good because I think I'll be satisfied with this little speck. So give me this tiny little itty bitty amount of good that's going to expire in 3 months. Please, I'll take it for $1,800. Okay? So then you take the deal. Okay? And you are excited for 3 months straight. Pure happiness. Third month comes, and I don't know what it is about the third month, but all of a sudden, something is wrong with you now. You ever realize it's like a crack that happens in the armor of anything after a while? It could be 3 months, it could be 6 months, it could be a year. What the hell just happened? I used to love you, but what the hell are you doing? That was weird. Okay, maybe 6 months, 9 months go by, and then you're like, wow, you are a totally different person than I thought you were. And you're just like the last two. Oh my God. Guess what just happened? What you did was you took the temporary little bitty light that you could see. You're like, okay, I'll take this. You looked at the how. You looked at your tiny little vision. And you said, in my tiny scope of vision, this is the only thing I need. Just this one thing. That's the sin. That's the problem. Because guess what? You only can let in as much light as the desire you have. So if you got a tiny desire, how much light can you actually bring into the world? Very little. Kabbalistic teachings tell you you need to expand your what? Somebody tell me. Expand your what? Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. Expand your what? What do we need to expand? What we need to expand? There we go. Expand the desire. When we have a huge desire, and guess how big the desire should be? Hint, hint. Guess how big the desire should be? We should have an infinite desire. If you want a little approval, you should say, I'm not settling for one person approving of me. I want all the approval that exists. That's what you should say. If you say, I want the pleasure of I just want a warm body and good sex at night. That's all I want. Just good sex. That's all I want. You should say, no, I want every sexual pleasure to tingle through my body constant. I want all of it. I want the whole ocean of sexual pleasure to wash over me. You should say that instead of saying you just want a warm body next to you. You want to ask for everything. If you say, all right, I want to be power. I want power over this one person to make them do what I want them to do. Nope. You should want total power, the power over everything that exists. That's what it says you should want. Okay, that's what it says you should want. Now, why does it say that? Here's why. Remember, I'm gonna make the curtain right here. We live under a curtain. Remember this. This is the key concept. This is the 1%. When you think only exclusively within the boundaries of the 1%, you are separated from all the good of your life, the 99%. The 99% is your soulmate. The 99% is your wealth. The 99% is everything you want. It is that. That's the thing about it. What's the issue? You're settling for 1% energies. You're settling for 1% energies. That's the problem. You're not asking for 100%. So how am I supposed to ask for 100%? Well, first of all, you got to realize how you've been asking for the small. This is how you ask for the small. Anytime. It's that one moment when you're like, okay, he's nice. I don't feel it all the way, but all right, whatever. Okay. When you make that small decision to go against your gut instinct and go against your standards, you just succumb to the low level energies. It's called reactiveness. You just reacted. Now, what would the opposite look like? What would proactive look like? Proactive would look like this. Here comes the guy. He's a lot of what you like. And you like him. He's like, okay, if he keeps talking, maybe I'll like him more. Maybe not, but please talk and make me like it. Okay, you in a situation. So now he's talking and you say, you know what? I don't need this person. I don't need love. I just need the light. I don't need it. I just need the light. I just want the light. Now, in that second that you restrict, here's what might happen. What might happen is you actually get the inkling to text them again. Okay, I don't need it. And then you might get the inkling to text. Okay. And the text will come through totally different than if you were needy. You see that? And that text message is going to hit totally differently. It's going to land differently. And it won't even be what you say. It's the energy you just said it with. Anybody understand what I'm saying? Put yes in the chat if you know what I'm saying. Okay, y'all know what I'm talking about? Okay, This is how you restrict opponent in your ear, like, go ahead. It's only one time anyways. It's only one time. Nobody is even gonna know. That's what the opponent is saying. You will know. You will watch yourself do it and you will not like it. That's the issue. Are y'all seeing this? This is 1% versus the 99%. Okay? So, this is the very beginning of how to create into the world. So, where does the reverse vote golden funnel come in? It works the exact same way when it comes to you awakening. Because what are you doing? When you start to awaken, here's what you're doing, y'all. The only thing you're doing is you are resisting, again, proactively restricting the physical 1% realm. How is that? Okay, here's how. When you make yourself sit down and meditate, whether you want to or not, you are overcoming your physical. Let me say that again. When you make yourself sit down to meditate, whether you want to or not, you just restrict it and you let in light. Well, how's that? You didn't want to meditate. Now, here's the other side of the coin. Let's say you do want to meditate and it feels very good. Then you go meditate. You get no extra light to come into your life from doing that because it was no struggle for you to do it. Interesting part about this whole scenario is it's like, well, I like meditating. Well, meditate until the day where you don't want to meditate. And on that day, meditate. And all of the benefits come on that day. Y'all get what I'm saying? This is restriction. If you got a business, and the business is doing okay, and you want to kind of pull back on the money that you spend, you want to pull back on your investment because you see this, it may be working, it may not be working that well. It really may not be working. In that moment, if you get stingy, guess what you just did? You just reacted to your physical circumstance. My money's going low. I need to save. I need to be fearful, be super fearful. Instead of doubling down on your education, doubling down on the bets on yourself and going forward and being generous, not going broke for no reason, but being generous with your money and being generous with your thought process. How can I give more even in the circumstance? How can I double how much I give? And rather than thinking like that, you think about skimming back. As soon as you do that, you are now reactive. You're reacting to your bank account. You're reacting to your external situation. That is not restriction. The curtain will come down. You're going to have a high. You'll save some money. And then you'll have a low. Whoa, I need money. You'll notice the times when you need least money is when you're most generous. Anybody notice that? When you just on a streak of generosity, like you don't even care. You just so abundant. Do y'all notice that in those moments, that's when you start to get more abundance? This is Kabbalah. So, first stage of creating clarity is overcoming the how. We talk about that in level 1. But the next level that you have to learn to get rid of, this is very difficult. You have to even learn how to get rid of the why. You have to get rid of lower level whys, those whys that are for physical domination, physical material stuff, animalistic pleasure, which is just sex and food, or psychological power over other people, being number one, winning against other people, making other people lose so you have to win. These reasons, or my mom did, look, every biography I have read of a billionaire, I'm not joking about you, about 80 to 90% of them are tormented mentally. I'm not even joking with you. They are tormented. If you read their biographies and autobiographies, these people are tormented. That is the reason they drive as hard as they do. A lot of them, not all of them, but the majority are driven to the point of misery. What are they doing? They are automatons to their why. One guy He one of the guys who super successful dude. The only reason he was, I think it was James J. Hill, the dude who created the railroad. He was so pissed at his dad for being a loser that he just wanted to prove him wrong and succeed. And that was his whole life, his entire life. The guy who made I think it was Cane's Chicken, Cane's. He was just going. No, oh no, it was Dyson Vacuum. It was Dyson Vacuum. This guy, he was so miserable. He was so afraid all the time. Fear ran his whole life. He wanted to be unique and different out of total fear. He said it the whole entire book. It was all fear. His why was driving him. He's a billionaire. See, a lot of the people who are in high places, quote, high places, that's subjective. I want you to realize when you think somebody is in a high place or an elite place, you're just listening to a suggestion in your mind. That's just an opinion. High and low are relative. Okay? But the people who have the strongest whys, a lot of times, and build the biggest businesses, problem is they're slave to their why. They're a slave. They can't not do what they're doing. They have to. They're a slave. Bill Gates, when you read his biography, the description, hardcore and compassionless and arrogant from very early age. They went to psychologists and said, what am I supposed to do? And we're like, you got to let him go. He's arrogant. He's going to do what he wants. Remain that way throughout. This is the demeanor and the attitude. And here's the attitude. He said, if I see a competitor, I need them to lose. I need them to lose. I will obliterate them at all costs. I need them to lose so I can win. That's insane. This is the power of a why. This is the power of a why. But it's a why separated from higher principle. It's a why separated from higher principle. They are not living by principle. They're living on their pure, raw desire. This is the desire or the feelings. This is what you have to overcome and what the Vedas talk about overcoming and what the Bhagavad Gita talks about overcoming. This is what it talks about overcoming. Is this strong feeling of the desire to receive for who? The self alone. Write this down. Desire to receive for the self alone equals chaos. Write that down. Desire to receive for the self alone equals chaos. Desire to receive for the self alone equals chaos. Now, here's on the flip side. The desire to receive, to share, is all the good in the universe. The desire to receive, to share, equals all the good in the universe. The desire to receive, to share, is all the good in the universe. This is the hardest thing to overcome because it's so subtle. So if you can overcome the selfish why and rise up to the true desire, and what's the desire? To be like the Creator. Desire is to be like the Creator, to have your real self. This is your true I am. All you want is yourself. All you want is to return to who you are. All you want is who you really are. How do you do that? You have to overcome these lower level feelings that drive you to create in the physical world like an obsessive maniac. And you have to rise into a higher desire that's rooted, that has a foundation of principle. And the principle is the principle of light. The higher principle is the principle of light. It's the good itself. When you overcome this triangle, which guess what it is? It's your conscious, it's your conscious mind, it's your physical mind, it's your thinking mind, it's your obsessive mind, it's your chatterbox mind, it's the storytelling mind, it's all of the things you believe mind. It's just blah 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 blah. Just talk and talk, 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 talk. It's that voice in your head that don't shut up. It's the voice in your head that tell you all, make commentary on the whole day. Make commentary on what you're doing. Why are you doing it that way? Don't you know you did that wrong? Why don't you do it the right way? You never do it the right way. You need to do it the right way. What the hell are you doing? I don't even know what you look. You were distracted for the last 5 hours. You'll never be successful. I'm talking this voice that just constant. That is called the opponent. The opponent is the one chattering in your head. This whole brain of yours is an opponent. This is an opponent. It's an opponent to your happiness. So throughout this boot camp, what you're going to realize, this is just day one, that's an intro. This is the introduction to the basics. What you are going to do throughout this boot camp is go from physical dominated consciousness, and you're going to move up the how, and you're going to realize I got a lot of strong desires that I cannot stop from rising up in my body. You're going to overcome those through meditation. You're going to overcome even the principles, the things that you think are true, the principles that you hold right now in your mind as true. You will overcome those during the next 30 days. You will rise into a true desire. And you will realize the real desire you have is the desire to be the equivalent to the creator and share. And once, guys, y'all, when y'all tap back into this desire, you bring all the power of the infinite down with you because you've restricted the self. You've overcome the world and you let the light in, and that's where the miracles are. That's where the miracles are. Truth is, though, you're not doing it for miracles. Because if you do it for miracles, you're desired to receive for who? Yourself alone. That and then chaos comes in. You desire to receive miracles for who? To share. You have to start thinking of other people. The key to this lesson that I want you to take away is if I keep thinking about myself, it's going to keep getting worse. I want you to realize that. If I keep thinking about myself, it's going to keep getting worse. If I can't afford to think about anybody else because I have a situation right now, you definitely need to think about other people now. Definitely at this point. You need to. You can't afford not to. If you broke, you definitely need to think about making other people wealthy. You 100% need to focus on it. If you are lonely, you definitely need to go hang out with lonely people and give them attention and sit with them and be observant with them and connect with them because you need it. You understand? This is so backwards to the majority of people. If 9 out of 10 people you run into on the street are thinking about themselves, absorbed in our own mind. We do it all the time. We're thinking about our car, our situation, our job, where we want to go, what we want to do, how much money we want to make, how we want to do it. We just thinking about ourselves only. Now, mind you, there's a way to flip the desires, which throughout the course, throughout this 30 days, you're going to find out how do I flip this desire. Like for instance, if a customer comes into your store, here's how you should think. Or if you see customers coming into your backlog or your office, your back office, you should say, you know what? I hope none of them buy if they don't need it. I don't want any person to buy this if they do not absolutely need it. As a matter of fact, bring me customers that don't need it so I can restrict and know that I don't need them. Just show me all the people I don't need. I want more of those. Because the more of those I get, the more customers I get. The more people I push away because they don't need it, the more I get, the more I receive. You should know this. And then if a person come up to you and want to buy something, you should say, let me interview you first. See if you qualify to buy this product. I don't know if you should buy this yet. You should really find out. Let me see. Let me see your situation. What is it? Tell me again. So you can assess if they actually need it. And if you assess that they need it and you can give this to them or sell this to them so you can reveal the light, only then do you sell it to them. Only then. Because now you know you're giving. You have to see, this is a game. You have to figure out in your head how you can make this a giving thing. Always. I'm going to give you an example, a couple examples, and then I'm going to open up for questions. Yesterday, me and Alicia spoke at this event. Okay? At the end, people came around us and they just wanted to talk to us. I mean, this happened in a lot of places we go. Me and Alicia, and I think it's really baby girl. Baby girl just attract the whole world, okay? She's just a magnet. So people come over and they just want to talk to us. So I'm sitting there, and I remember, if this was 10 years ago, I promise you, I would have just got up and walked out of the room. Okay, I'm not joking, because I was just an arrogant asshole. Okay, I was just arrogant. I would have just got up and walked out. People coming up, they talking to us. I'm talking, how long? Probably an hour and a half.
Yeah, we definitely stayed way past.
We stayed an hour and a half after the event. People just around us talking to us, telling us all the ideas, telling us their dreams, telling us about the kids, telling us about everything. And I'm sitting there. And I remember when I would have been like, this is a waste of my time. I don't want to hear your damn story. I'm leaving. I've been here too long anyways. We was there way later than we were supposed to be. They brought us on late, everything. I mean, we could have left earlier. But I remember, I'm listening to this lady. She is so passionately talking about her children. She loves her children. All of them were amazing kids, too. She got 6 of them right there. She's like, I want 4 more. I want 2 sets of twins. I got it planned. I'm not even joking. She said that. She's a beast. So she talking to us about her kids. And in the middle of realizing that she's talking to us about her kids, I said, oh my God, I know how she feels. She wants to be recognized for the good that she's doing in the world. And I got the opportunity to listen to her and let her feel good about what she's doing. I get to do this. You see? My dumb ass 10 years ago would have lost that opportunity because I would be too stupid and blind. But instead of being dumb and blind, I'm so grateful. So grateful for the moment. I'm sitting there like, wow, I'm actually giving to this woman. I'm not saying a damn thing. I'm listening. I got to give to her. In that moment, I was sowing seeds. For what? This relationship I got right here. Because I'm talking to somebody who needs someone to listen to. Well, don't I want to be listened to? If I want to be listened to, this is a great opportunity. Let me listen to you. Me and Alicia sat. It was a girl. She was doing a speech. Nobody was there. Where's they, babe?
Yeah.
They were all gone. Nobody was there. We are the only 2 there. I'm like, wow, this is an opportunity. I get to listen to her intently. As the only listeners at her speech. Then later, people started surrounding, but I got that opportunity to listen to somebody who would love to be heard about the things that she's talking about. So these are opportunities. I restricted my instinct, which is let's leave. Why am I listening to her? Let's go be outside where the DJ is and go look at the jewelry and look at the plants and stuff, look at the herbs. Why are we in here? You know, my ego. We know more than this lady. Why would I be listening to her? That's not the point, Josh. So you gotta crack myself over the head. Look, this is the opponent. The opponent is always trying to get you out of the thing that's gonna give you the most light. So Here's your practice. Here's your practice. Your practice through tomorrow until Wednesday is going to be catch yourself with the opponent. You're going to catch yourself. Now, what we all going to do, you get a sheet of paper like this. Get a sheet of paper like this. Like this. You're going to slice it into 6 halves, okay? We all going to do this. In a day, you're going to cut your day into 6 parts and set your alarm for, I think it's 2.5 hours at a time. So from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m., however long you stay up. And what you're going to do is every quarter, every one of those 6, I don't know what a 6th is, every period, what you're going to do is look back over your hours and go, did I deliberately, intentionally, and on purpose overcome a problem, a desire to receive for the self alone? That's what you're going to do. And you need to be specific about it. I intentionally sat down with Mary, who I know is lonely and needs people to listen to her. And I sat and intentionally listened to her for 30 minutes and she felt good about it. You got to be specific as that. Okay? Or I sent a text message to my cousin who I've been feeling a certain way about because I know they need to be reached out to, and I get the opportunity to do that. Whatever the thing is, you need to be clear about it and write it in that section. You put a check mark if you did it. Now, if you violated, which is you acted for yourself alone in that 2.5 hour period, even if it was slight or accidental, you have to put an X mark on it. Does this make sense? We're going to send some detailed instructions after so you know exactly what the rules are. But you split the paper into 6 and keep a physical piece of paper. And you're going to keep track of this through the whole 30 days. And you're going to keep track, okay, did I intentionally and deliberately give and share where it was challenging to do so? And you're going to write it in. If it's a check mark, put a check. If you didn't and you missed it, put an X. We're going to observe ourselves in real life. This is going to change your life, y'all. We're going to keep track of it. You're going to keep track of it. You're going to be able to see, damn, I understand why I'm getting what I'm getting. You can pick one area of life. If it's money, do money. If it's love, love. If it's whatever. But if you want even awakening, spiritual awakening, what you should do is spend your time trying to help somebody raise their awareness during this 30 days. Spend some time helping somebody who wants to have their awareness raised. Raise their awareness. You're going to pick somebody during this 30 days to just sit and listen to it uplift with your vibration on purpose. And the goal is every day to have more check marks than X marks. And if at the end of the day, you want to judge yourself harshly too, you're the only one who's going to see this. Judge yourself harshly. Why? Because you want to be real with yourself. The less you do it, the better. Why? Because you're already good as you are right now. So imagine if you start doing this, you get even better. If you could put all check marks, you can't get any better. So watch yourself closely. All right. Let's unmute and ask anybody got any questions, comments, or observations or about the lesson specifically. So stick to the lesson on this one, y'all, on the questions.
I can't wrap my mind around overcoming the principles.
Overcoming the principles, I can understand that. So principles have 2 levels. You got universal principles and you got personal principles, right?
Mm-hmm.
In all reality, when you get down to the nitty gritty, you are the law of success. Truthfully. At the end of the day, you don't even need to know the principles. The principles are intellectual. They're for your mind. They're for you to think with. But you don't need them. to be the law of success. You are a law unto yourself. So, in order to connect with the law unto yourself, you have to overcome the lower laws, which is everything we talked about up until this point.
So that's how I created before I even knew the principles.
Exactly.
Got it.
Exactly. So now when you return back, you're going to return on solid foundation. Solid foundation. You'll never leave. Never leave. Good question, Emily.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else notice anything or have questions specifically about this here? And we're going to be doing this over the next 30 days. We're going to be dislodging your brain from every form. You're going to be loosening up the screws so that things can fall apart harmoniously. Let them go harmoniously. You'll notice you won't stop taking action. Actions will be happening. Actions will be happening. Any questions? Go ahead, get selfish with your questions today. This is the intro. This is the beginning. This is the start. This is the very, very, very beginning. Very beginning. Okay, no questions? Okay. Last thing, we're going to have some homework.
Hey, Wayne asked what we're doing with the 6 sections again.
Okay, let me just do it right here. So let me look. I had it on my phone. You see my phone? Oh, it's up here. The time slot. So look, this is how it works. Okay. So let's say this is the start of your day. Okay, this is the start of your day. This is the finish of the day. All right, what you're doing, you're splitting your page into 6 different parts. Here's what you're doing. It's the rules. I'm going to send this out so you're going to get it in paper. Desire to receive for the self alone versus desire to share. You want to be looking at it, I'm going to show you how to do it. It's going to come in one page. You will take an action that goes directly against the desire to receive for the self alone. Every single hour or every block. It's usually 2.5 hours, 2.5 hours to the end of the day. That's what we kind of timed it out for. 2 hours or 2.5 hours per block. An alarm goes off on your phone. What you do is you stop and you look back over the last 2 hours and you say, did I take any actions for the desire to receive for the self alone? Did I unconsciously seek approval in the last 2.5 hours? Or was I totally given the last 2.5 hours? Whichever one it is, if you had any slight violation, you put an X. If you did what you were supposed to do, which is give and intentionally overcome the desire to receive for the self alone, you put a check mark. So you do these throughout the day. And at the end of the day, you want more check marks than you have X's. You will tally these up at the end of the week. You will see exactly why you're getting what you're getting. Does that make sense?
I got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I would really pick something. Pick something. Depends on what you want. This is reverse golden funnel. So the people here are looking for really awakening, spiritual awakening, enlightenment, and self-realization to create space for their mind, to create ease and grace. That's what's happening in this next 30 days. So that's what we're going to primarily be focused on. In order to do that, meditation is key in the morning. Meditation is key at night. You are responsible for doing both of those. We're not babysitting and watching over you. If you want to wake up, you can wake up. If you don't, you don't. You got to decide. Most of what you're going to be doing is going within yourself and asking to connect to the divine. That's what you're going to be doing most of the day. You'll notice these blocks are impossible to do unless you're constantly connected with the divine all day. In that 2.5 hour block, if you intentionally and deliberately are appreciating, it's the only time, because conscious competence, remember that level of conscious competence, you have to focus on tying your shoelace the first time you do it. Now you're a genius. You can just tie it. But in the beginning, it was like, loop, another loop. Your brain was hurting just trying to tie your shoes. Somebody started talking to you. He's like, shut up. I need to tie my shoe. Okay, you need everybody to be totally silent to tie your shoe. That's conscious competence. So y'all are at conscious competence. We all at conscious competence. We're doing this. Let's get better. Now, we at mastery at different levels, but we're not here for all the things we already mastered. What's the point of that? We're here to master areas we haven't mastered. So pick the hard area and let's get it going. Get it going. This is how we're gonna keep track. Okay. And look, I want y'all updates in the Kabbalah chat. We might even be able to set alarms for the Kabbalah chat, like just some check-ins. Okay. Anybody got any other questions or observations?
We're just meeting Mondays and Wednesdays, correct?
No, it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Oh, it wasn't on the calendar.
Yeah.
Oh, we took it off? We got to adjust it probably then, my bad.
But you
Monday.
said if you fix the add to calendar thing too.
Yeah, we'll fix it. We'll fix it. It's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, same time.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Any other questions?
Well, yeah. So with the 6 sections, so we're not going to be showing this to everybody, right?
Yeah, you don't have
Some
to
would
show
be
it to everybody. You just want to keep this for yourself.
here.
Keep
Okay.
this for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I don't want everybody to see, yes, I'm very selfish. No.
Keep it for yourself. Look, now if you want, when you look at it, you will see why things are happening the way they're happening. So if I want you to be clear too. Be clear about what you want. If you're in this boot camp, it's called reverse golden funnel. What's funny about the reverse golden funnel, you get everything you want with the reverse golden funnel. But it's the most scary because you don't know what the hell happens next. That's the thing. When you do reverse golden funnel, you are literally saying, God, anything you want me to do, I'm going to just do it. That's what basically you're saying. And you are totally 100% trusting the light for everything. You're acting. You take action. You move. But you're only doing it to connect to the light and correct the mistake. This correction to go. Overcome reactiveness. That's the only goal you have the whole 30
Wow.
days. Okay? It's going to change your life. Every time y'all going to catch yourselves. You're going to catch yourselves. You're probably already caught yourselves during the live already. Watching your thoughts, watching your brain. You just watching your brain. It's all about what you think. Your thoughts are mental activities. They are actual actions. So appreciate. When the opponent comes, remember, it's trying to steal the light. The opponent is loudest when the reward is biggest. So when the light is biggest, opponent is loudest. It's the hardest thing in the world. It's the hardest thing in the world. It's the hardest thing in the world that you're going to do. But it will work. It will work. All right. That's a good thing. You feel it coming up. You feel it coming up. Let's go. All right. Any other questions, y'all? Or did somebody put a comment that we need? Yep, this the exercise. All right, that's all I got for y'all. I'm gonna be sending out the homework to you with the instructions. So be looking out for that. I cannot wait to start this. This is just the intro. The next 30 days is gonna be deeper meditation. It's gonna be a lot of withdrawing and backing up from the thoughts, backing up from your intellect and backing up from your body. You are going to overcome the world. You're craving need to win. You're craving need for approval. You're craving need to accomplish. You will be curbing all of it. You will be rising above it. It's the hardest thing you're ever going to do in your life. But when you overcome the world, there is so much peace. The more you overcome, it's so much peace. It's peace that surpasses all understanding. Okay? Okay, y'all. Okay, y'all. Look, I love y'all. I will see y'all in the chat. I'm going to be sending out homework. And if you want to check in with me, you can. You can just message me if you want to check in and keep accountability. But you do not have to send me your sheets. But if you want to keep accountable, message me. Okay? Keep supporting each other in the chat. The whole goal, though, remember, you can't change the world. You only can change yourself. So change yourself to change the world. Don't worry about nobody else during this. Only thing you're thinking about somebody else on is, okay, I want to give to people. I want to be like the creator and share. Where can I share? Write down your wins, okay? I love y'all. Y'all have a beautiful night.
That was incredible, Josh.
Thank you, Emily. Thank you. It's the beginning.